What a journey from 2010 to today for the St. Lucia network of rural women producers, the Mikud cluster. All this time, they've been begging for a food safety friendly facility to produce. The members reside between Deriuisseaux and Pralais, and now they are beneficiaries under the EU BAM program. They're involved in the production of a variety of juices, jams, jellies, and candied fruits, chocolates, all from their homes. So now they can come together to produce. In 2011, the group received agro-processing equipment from AICA and SIQUA and was allocated space at this Anse Rural Service Center to establish an agro-processing facility. However, there were issues regarding design, layout, and equipment that had to be rectified before the facility could be utilized. These issues were rectified under the EU-funded BAM program to ensure quality control, proper packaging, proper storage, and distribution of the finished products. So it's satisfying to see that we got to this point, because in 2013, when the EU approved 10.35 million euros for agricultural transformation in St. Lucia, stakeholders were invited to help identify projects to be funded under the BAM. And out of the 40 activities identified, 27 were selected. And of priority to the stakeholders were the retrofitting and refurbishment of 4 agro-processing facilities. The first one, the Deriuisseaux agro-processing facility, was handed over by the EU to the government of St. Lucia last year around this time, and was immediately leased out to Paradise Foods St. Lucia Limited. So that's one gone. The second one, the Lakai honey processing facility, which is now completed, very spacious, a lot of processing space, office space, and everything. We are in the Department of Agriculture is in discussion with the Millefleur Honey Producers Cooperative to manage the facility. The third one is right here at Anse. The Anse agro-processing space or agro-processing facility is by far the smallest. But we have a group of women who are dedicated, committed, who are going to manage the facility. This facility will be handed over today to the government of St. Lucia from the EU, and immediately will be listed out to the St. Lucia network of rural women producers, the Mikud cluster. The last one to my right is the cocoa micro-fermentary or cocoa processing facility, which is very interesting. Feel free to visit once we are finished with the formalities. And we are in discussion with the premium cocoa producers to manage the facility. This facility also will be handed over today by the EU to the government of St. Lucia. Now, I'm sure a lot of people might be asking why agro-processing? Because when we were in discussion with the stakeholders, it was generally felt that for too long we've been involved mainly in primary production. And there's a huge gap between the output of food crops and the percentage of value-added products being produced for the local and external market. And if this gap, so help me God, is not narrowed, the economic returns or economic benefits of value addition will remain limited. So let me quickly recap. Today, the EU will be handing over 3 facilities to the government of St. Lucia, and we'll be handing over 1 facility to the St. Lucia network of rural women producers. For the 2 remaining facilities, we will have separate handing over ceremonies.
Today, I'm doubly pleased to be here. First of all, for this handover ceremony, and second of all, to tell them that it was one of the best chocolates I've had in my life. And believe me, I had some chocolate in my life. Many of you know the banana accompanying measures, most often called the BAM by friends and relatives, as an EU St. Lucia program that has complemented our bilateral cooperation during the last 10 years. Many of you have seen the agricultural infrastructure that was mentioned here by Mr. Condom. And now it's ready thanks to your work. What you might know is that originally this BAM came about as a result of the Geneva Agreement in 2009, which settled the dispute between the European Union and the banana producers in Latin America. and resulted in a reduction of tariffs which eroded the export market for African, Caribbean, and Pacific producers. So this program came to compensate, in a sort, these producers with an amount of around 190 million euros. St. Lucia has benefited of 10 million euros under this program, whose main goal was to increase the revenue generation of the rural sector, and doing so to contribute to macroeconomic growth. Honorable Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to see that today the BAM is a diverse, dynamic, and integrated program that goes far beyond the purely compensatory action that it was meant to be at the beginning. And this is thanks to you. Communities and authorities have come together to define the best way this program could help both the population at grassroots and the country's economy at macro level. What you can see here is not only some buildings and modern equipment, is the concrete representation of your own vision of reviving St. Lucian agriculture, of making it competitive, sustainable, and able to satisfy the internal demand from local production and supply. It is now widely recognized that agriculture and agribusiness in the 21st century require inputs of high-quality human capital, thus making it imperative that farmers and operators in agribusiness be correctly trained in agricultural science and well-equipped to run business operations. Reliability of diversified supply and achievement of quality standards are important for penetrating both domestic and international markets. Effective private sector development in agriculture is a requirement and has to be streamlined accordingly from policy dialogue to production, agro-processing and marketing. Diversification of agricultural production is also a slow process and requires a robust facilitative infrastructure from the selection of seeds or planting material to the post-harvest technology, marketing and credit supply. EU has supported the Anse processing facility in this spirit, together with 2 other agro-processing facilities on this island. And I'm proud that the European Union has contributed to the development of this amenity by allocation of the necessary budget for its refurbishment and equipment. The BAM program has also targeted the banana competitiveness and contributed in the rebound of the banana export business. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that thanks to the combined efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and its development partners, St. Lucia has boosted earlier than expected its banana exports, while at the same time reaching new destinations on the European continent, such as the French market. Halting the decline in the banana production means that the country has been able to cope with the diseases and the ravages caused by bad weather conditions, and the government can be commended for its voluntary action in the agriculture sector. Since climate change possesses a real threat to agricultural production and food security, I want to use this opportunity to stress that better adaptation and resilience to climate change is on top of our cooperation agenda, and as a global challenge, we have to address it together. Honorable Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, we are the first generation to feel the impacts of climate change and probably the last generation that can do something about it. Food security, climate and agriculture are linked in a way that does not allow working separately on one issue or the other. What is needed is a holistic approach where no one is left behind and all stakeholders can contribute with their expertise to direct the region on a path for sustainable development. We are keen to accompany St. Lucia in this process of transforming societies and sector into resilient and sustainable ones, be it farming or any other sector. Our times demand a new constellation of international cooperation. Recognizing that not single sector and no single country can solve the world's major societal challenges alone, these roles are increasingly carried out through engagement in partnerships and collaborative frameworks across civil society, business, government, international organizations and development partners working together for a collective global world. This is what we believe in and this is what we invest in. Honorable Prime Minister, if you allow me, I will add only one more thing. It is imperative to be ambitious in this endeavor, producing locally, especially through sustainable agriculture, is one of the best ways to reduce imports, which often translate into high cost and high emissions, and thus fight with simple local means and answers against global challenges. Thank you very much.
This is a project that it's so easily for me to be able to embrace, because it encompasses everything that we've been talking about during the last couple of days for independence. It's about learning to depend on ourselves, to recognize that the only thing that's limiting us is our capacity to believe in ourselves, and to not make any excuses as to why we're not progressing. And this is a project of empowerment. This is one in which it recognizes that there are many women that have to play a multiple role, and that maybe participating in the economics of society is not one that is readily available to them, because their first priority is to their family. And so this project encompasses that. It allows for a world-class processing facility to be right in their backyard, and one in which they can still spend the necessary time supporting their family. But I also want to say that the potential of St. Lucia is not only for them to be able to produce the products for local consumption. That really the opportunity is mastering the art of satisfying the local demand, but now looking at being able to use tourism as a platform to sell to the world. And I can say to you that in the world today, that people want to buy less from big companies and more from small, authentic companies, like what is going to be taking place here. And so the packaging, the quality of your product, and then the distribution of that product are very, very critical. So my government is not coming in here with a piecemeal approach to this problem. So one is the continual training programs to assist the women and other persons involved in developing small companies. The second one is to create an opportunity here to be able to master that art of processing, not only in terms of quality, but also in terms of cost. And then the next one is we have an agency called TIPA, which I believe is going to be changing their name to Export St. Lucia, which will now work with you in terms of making sure you can get your products distributed in the hotels, and also to look at specific markets. The real signal of your success is going to be when I start seeing more and more younger people deciding to take a career in agro-processing, and that they start really knowing that this is a great industry to be in, and one in which it can genuinely provide an income level that you could make a significant contribution to improving not only your life, but the lives of everybody in your family. But I just want to say to you that we are proud of you. We're going to keep working side by side with you in terms of helping you package your product, improve the quality of your product, and most importantly, making sure that there are people there to buy your product so you can continue to improve your lives. And we will stand right by your side every step of the way. So again, thank you to everyone who's been involved in this process. And remember arson today. Thank you.
Today, it's a great day in the life of St. Lucia Network of Rural Women Producers, Micoud Cluster. We've come this far by faith, all in the journey, the future. It was not easy, but we persisted. It was not easy. The journey. You see, the end of the thing is what we're going to use as a process, but the beginning, the process, the phases that we went through. But I want to stand here this afternoon and first commend the chairperson, Mr. Eden Compton, Specialist Project Coordinator. He toiled with us from 2010 to now. His personality is that whenever he see you, even though it's bad news, he will tell you it. He will call, he will update. And you know when you realize, it looks as though these women are giving up. He will bring the diplomats to my school. He will bring them to Miss Nurse. Hear from them. What I'm telling you, he was persistent. And many times we thought we would have lost this building. But I said, no, by faith, it's ours. Coincidentally, this year, the celebration for the ecumenical service, that we have come this far by faith. And truly, we have made it this far by faith. And we are not going to give up. We are going to continue the line. Absent this day, I must recognize, is the person who brought me to St. Lucia, Mr. Arson James. A moment of silence. He was here when we initiated this project here for the St. Lucia Network of Rural Women Producers. A few years ago, it should have been handed over to us, but things went wrong, as they often do. You have a plan, but sometimes one person can change the plan and delay the process. But we are thankful to God this afternoon that we are here and it's just about to be given to us. But you have heard talk about this. That's of recent, our last product. The need for a home can be further emphasized because this product started at Faith Tabernacle Church, Micoud. And Pastor Charles just waved, he's here. He gave us permission to use the kitchen, to use the junior church office, and the one room that has AC, his office, to produce this. This is where it started. There's where it started, at a church. So it's blessed. It is blessed, and it's doing well. And we have received so much comments, good comments about it. Our best individual seller, purchaser, is the Honorable Gail Rigobot, Dr. Gail Rigobot. Up to last Saturday, she purchased 100 packets of this. She's took it as far as Dubai. She traveled. This is her gift package. And so for those who are here, the gift package is right here. The best that we have. You don't go far and don't go anywhere. It's very cheap. For dark chocolate, Micoud. Why Micoud? We are using Micoud beans only. It has a distinct flavor. Micoud women. And it's all produced in Micoud. Can anything good come out of Micoud? This is an international product. And this is coming out of Micoud, and we are proud to be here. But I will not do justice if I don't at this time recognize the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA. Our parents, they are part of us. They have steered us. In the present here, we have two of the officers from that office, and they were persistent. They spoon-fed us. They are there for us. We still need your support. Continue to do what you do. Continue to support us. Continue to help us. So we are very thankful for today, and we continue to look forward to the assistance from all of you because money answereth all things. Thank you very much.
This lovely building of faith, the Anse Agro-Processing facility, was funded by the European Union under the Agricultural Transformation Program, Banana Accompanying Measures, ATP BAM program. The scope of this project involved the retrofitting, refurbishment, and equipping of the facility so that it can comply with modern food safety standards. It was specifically targeted at strengthening the support of rural communities where women play such a vital role in agriculture. In fact, it's quite amazing the role of women we heard in agriculture, as well as in the church. We heard the connection between the church and agriculture. And it's amazing how the women folk are so active in those key sectors of the society. The work on this building was a component of a contract for refurbishment of agro-processing facilities at 2 other locations on the island. At this time last year, we had the pleasure of witnessing the handover of the Anse facility, as you've heard. And of course, the 3rd facility is located at Lacaille, and that would be devoted to the production of honey. The infrastructural works on the project was undertaken by Construction and Industrial Equipment, CIE Limited, at a cost of 52,100 euros, or about 151,089 EC dollars. The works commenced on April 2016 and was supervised by the Office of the NAO in conjunction with Amana Consulting Limited. The equipment was procured and installed under a contract with TMAC Supplies in the amount of some 91,837 euros, or approximately 266,328 EC dollars. This facility will now allow rural entrepreneurs to create home industries that can operate as close to the primary product as possible, while maintaining relevant food safety standards which meet HACCP quality and therefore allows them to gain access to the overseas markets. The operationalization of this facility can benefit from a natural linkage to another project that was funded under the ATP BAM. And I make reference here to the just completed National Diagnostic Facility, which is located at Union. The National Diagnostic Facility is expected to provide the necessary support ranging from plant and animal diagnostics to finished products that can meet the appropriate standards of quality and consistency. Clearly, the desire to see our local produce competing side by side on the supermarket shelves with regional and international products can now move from a dream to a reality. This facility is expected to be complemented by other interventions by the Department of Agriculture, such as the Feeder Roads program aimed at improving farm access, the cluster facilitation training aimed at improving partnership and collaboration, and the development of the management plans consultancy, which is aimed at identifying workable and practical management arrangements for sustained and optimal use of the facilities. In fact, the management arrangement is already bearing fruit because this facility, as you have heard, is currently being managed by a group of 20 women from the communities of Miku. And of course, they are ably led by Mrs. Evelyn Augustine, whose main activities are farming, agro-processing, craft making, and catering. The membership of this group ranges is in fact quite large, from 20-year-olds to 60-year-olds. The members can now operate their own businesses from the facility, which is HACCP compliant as opposed to their homes. It means that the sky is the limit and the opportunities are endless. As we have heard already, the most popular items is the chocolate bars that have been doing pretty well in sales over the past months. No doubt production is expected to increase once the building is fully occupied and utilized in the coming weeks. Of course, I do look forward to sampling my own portion of the Miku South speciality. In conclusion, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the European Union for providing the much-needed financing for this project and to the Asia Women Group for making this investment worthwhile. Ladies and gentlemen, let me wish, in closing, everyone a happy 40th anniversary of independence and a pleasant evening. Thank you.
I must say I'm standing here with mixed feelings. I listened to you, Madam President, and you're quite correct. But I am standing here with mixed feelings. One, I'm happy. I'm happy that after almost 8 to 9 years, we are officially handing over to our rural women in Anse this facility. We started in 2010. I'm happy that the Prime Minister, he's not there, will no longer call me into his room, his office, and for me to answer questions as to where are we with this project in Anse. But I'm also sad. I'm sad because the one who started that project with me in 2010 and gave all the support and all the ideas as to how we can develop that project is no longer here with us today, and that's Brother Aston James. But I'm sure he'll be smiling because that was a project dear to his heart. Today we are receiving from the EU, and let me express my appreciation as Minister responsible for agriculture and all the others, portfolio, through you, National Horizon Officer, my appreciation, and to say thank you very much to the EU for understanding and financing agro-processing facilities in St. Lucia. We have heard a lot on the radio that government is doing nothing about agro-processing, and that's incorrect. And persons who are calling the respective talk show should, of course, get the information correct. As a government, we have established a number of agro-processing facilities in St. Lucia. And you heard, of course, Babono, which I'll come to in a while. Anse, talk about the honey producers in Lakai. And of course, we have the cocoa fermentary here. And I must say that based on our intervention, working with locals and persons we have trained, in fact, last year, World Food Day, the theme for World Food Day was agro-processing. And those of us who had taken the time to participate with us would realize the number of persons in St. Lucia involved in agro-processing. So it's not the intention of government to really manage these facilities. In fact, when we decided to construct the two facilities in 2010, it was clear that the Anse facility will be managed by the rural women in Miku North and South. That's clear. And Babono, of course, we said the government will take control of Babono for 2 years and afterwards would hand it over to a private individual. So I'm happy today that we're receiving, officially, the facility at Anse, the Rural Women Agro-Processing Facility. We're also receiving the honey facility at Lakai, and of course the cocoa fermentary that have been there for a very long time, and we are doing some work as it pertains to hand it over again to a private individual. You see that we believe as a government that agro-processing is critical because we are very seasonal in our production pattern. When we have mangoes, we have too many mangoes, it's going to waste. When you have citrus, we have too many citrus, it's going to waste. And we believe that there's need to encourage persons to get involved in agro-processing. Like was said by the President, it creates employment and allow persons to generate the type of revenue that's needed for them to take care of their family. So as a government, we're doing all in our powers to make sure that we can encourage persons to get involved in agro-processing. Food safety is also critical. And just 2 weeks ago, we had this international food safety seminar in Ethiopia, the first ever World Food Safety Seminar, where countries all over the world sat and discussed programs and policies, how we can implement safety measures to ensure that the food that we are producing and the food that our consumers are using are safe. And I'm happy, President, you spoke about it. We need, whilst we're producing and we seem to be focusing a lot on production, we have to look at the whole aspect of safety. And I'm happy that you spoke about Babono. But I must say, unfortunately, whilst we have a cluster in Babono, they don't have a home. Because unfortunately, the work that was done at the Deriuisseaux Agro-Processing Center did not make any allowance for them, unlike Anse. So, Mr. PS, I'm happy that I have support from Sister Nurse as it pertains to Babono. And I'm sure we will need to get the type of resources that's required for us to really give our people in Babono a home. Because both Babono and Anse started together. They were trained together, and unfortunately, up to now, we cannot see the group in Babono being housed in a facility that they can continue to produce the respective products that they have been trained to do. I want to say that whilst we're speaking about the agro-processing facility here, but we have a number of other facilities here. We have also the cocoa fermentary, and you should not lose sight of this, and the marketing board. The new infrastructure that we are putting in place would have an outlet here to purchase from our farmers. And in addition to that, I want to inform our young persons here today that we're going to revisit the Youth in Agricultural program for this community. Because when we decided to put together the Youth in Agricultural program, again, Brother Anse was involved. The lands we have in Anse was one of the areas we were looking at to have young persons undertake high-tech agriculture. Unfortunately, that had not been able to commence. And we, through my ministry, we have agreed that we need to revisit this Youth in Agricultural program, and the Prime Minister, who is the parliamentary representative for Mico South, is well aware of it, and he has given it the fullest support. I want to say that whilst we have recognized Mr. Compton, I too want to express my appreciation to Mr. Compton and his team. We are very happy or grateful for the work that you have done, Mr. Compton, and we're really looking forward to really opening the diagnostic facility very soon. Also, I think I can throw it out. Whilst here is called the Anse Rural Center, and it encompasses a number of facilities as it pertains to agriculture, I think I'll need to discuss with the Prime Minister to rename it and call it St. James Agricultural Complex. Thank you very much.